We're going to be getting this plumbing ready for the new vanity, and I'll show you guys what's going on here. We have a couple water hammers. These are just homemade water hammers, old school water hammers. And then you got your hot and cold. I just looped this here because these old shutoffs were leaking, so I shut them off and then looped this just to stop it from leaking on the ground in the meantime. And then we have our trusty galvanized stub-out for our drain right here. So my plan is I'm going to cut everything, all this foam flush, leave as much of the foam in there as I can, cut off all this plumbing, extend these 2 copper lines out for new stub-outs, and then we can cut holes for our vanity, our new vanity. I really don't want to reuse any of this, and I don't want to cut a huge hole in the back of the vanity because it's all enclosed, so I'd like to keep it that way. Put some in the couplers as well. But quick tip, you want to heat up the opposite side that you're going to start soldering on. That way the solder can pull itself around to the heat. All right, so those look good. We can't run this vanity right against this wall because then these drawers are gonna hit our door trim. Okay, so in order for our drawer to clear this trim, we need to space the whole vanity off this wall, just about 1 inch. So that's what I got here. I cut a piece of trim and I'm going to secure it to the side. The next thing we're gonna do is cut in for our drain and our hot and cold supply lines. So because we have that spacer in there, we have to accommodate for that when we measure over. I like to drill through from the back, just like a little pilot hole, and then I'll do my finish from the inside so I don't blow out the inside of the cabinet. We added our little furring strip here, so that way the door would clear the wood trim. So now we're going to install it. Okay, so we got our new stub-outs sticking there, out right there, and then we have our drain. As you can see, there's a pretty big gap here, and that's because the floor is not level. So we're gonna level this and shim it, and then we're gonna screw it to the wall in studs. Man, the lack of stuff, that's probably the vent. Right on the edge. Solida. Okay, so now that I got my height here, I'm gonna want to hide these because they don't look very good. The floating vanity. It's magic. I like to do the plumbing next if I can. It's easier for me to get to installing the shutoffs before the counter is installed. Don't forget to shut that off or you're gonna have a surprise. I want to go fairly tight on those compression fittings I'm going almost as tight as I can. And then make sure your shutoffs are shut off, so when you turn the water back on, it's not spraying all over your bathroom before you have a chance to get back and realize. Okay, now that the shutoffs are on, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plumb out the sink, the counter. It's a counter with a built-in sink combo, but I'm going to plumb that out first. That way I don't have to reach out underneath it and plumb it out after. You want to use clear silicone. This is Silicone Advanced Kitchen Bath. I like these little tubes of it because you don't need to break out the whole caulking gun and they seal up. That's what we're doing. So we're going to silicone this right here. I guess you could use plumber's putty too, you know. A lot of the older guys would probably use plumber's putty because that's what they used when they were my age, but now we just kind of use silicone and everything. Works really good. So I'm going to try to get this in there without making too much of a mess, and I'm going to tighten this down, and then we'll tighten this to actually really suck it up. Now we're just going to clean off any excess. So you got that in there. It's a plastic fitting, so I'm not going to go ham. Then we have these oriented out to accept the water line that's going to connect to this stem here. And then our hot and cold 1/2 inch end of the supply line will screw on here and here. The plunger has to go in. This goes into the plunger. You got to drop the seal. And then this goes into the freaking frack. Check that that works. Okay. I hate these. Washer, base, this thing, cap. And then I just kind of tighten it down as I'm moving it, and that's about it right there, because maybe a little tighter. If you go too tight, you're not going to be able to use it. Okay, now everybody's least favorite thing. See, why is this even? It's 2025. Like, why are we still why? If you guys sense frustration, that's normal. So if you're doing this and you're not frustrated, then you do too many of these. Now this isn't long enough, so this is hitting here. So now we're gonna have to do some bending. That to hate. This is normal. Voila! We are masters of the universe. That was super fun. Do not over tighten these guys. I just set this down. We're going to silicone this down. We have a gap right here because we had to move it over, accommodate to this, so it wouldn't hit. So because of that, we don't want this to be all ugly. So we're going to make it flush here, and we're going to put some backsplash right here. There's no really any other way to do it unless they got a different style vanity, and this is what I was provided with. So we're going to silicone this down. I'm going to take this back off, silicone around, slowly lower it down, and then we're going to throw something on here to hold it down, some flooring or something. Right. Okay, the flooring here weighs a lot. They're like 30-40 pounds a box, so this will hold it down. We'll just let that set up overnight. I pulled it away from the wall a little bit to make sure my reveal here was all the same. We're gonna put backsplash along the wall and along this wall, so the gap's not a big deal as long as we properly seal the backsplash. That's how you install a vanity, and then we will show you how to plumb the vanity. We're going to be doing the backsplash now, and the company that was supposed to be sending us the backsplash for this vanity, and it fell through. So we came up with this other idea. We're going to take 3 pieces of tile, this looks like man-made quartz sill for a marble floor, and we're going to use them to make a backsplash. Because they're not 48 inches long, we're gonna have a seam, so I'm gonna put a seam here in the middle, and we'll just use some white grout, and then, so it'll be 2 pieces, and a piece right here, and it'll clean up nicely. We'll grout it, silicone it. We have our tile cut down. As you saw, I beveled the inside edge for our grout line. So I'm just gonna pre-fit this, make sure everything's gonna fit nicely. There we go. That's exactly how I measured it up. Yeah, looks good there. That is our backsplash install. Yeah, we put our seam center behind the faucet. Looks pretty good. You know, we have that gap there on the right, so our drawers would clear the door trim. But it'll be fine. We'll let that set up, and then we will silicone with some white silicone where the backsplash is meeting the counter, and we'll add a little grout there to that middle seam, and then we'll put some paintable caulking on the top, and then when that dries, we'll come back and cut in our paint. I'm going to spray some soapy water and alcohol mixture. There it is. Okay, that's all she wrote. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. If you learned anything, please comment down below. If there's anything that you would have done differently, comment down below. I expect that. So yeah, we got the vanity installed, plumbed out, backsplash on, silicone, paintable caulk on the top that we're going to cut into later. The last thing we gotta do on the vanity side of things in here is set the mirror and put the lampshades on.